Welcome to Talks with Tot. I'm your host, Tot. Let's get started.
All right, well, let's get started. Hi, my name is Tatiana. I am your podcast, Talks with Tot. This is my first podcast I've ever done, and I was so inspired by Dan Bongino, who's one of my favorites, and I wanted to kind of get out there and just talk with everybody. So this podcast is going to be about a couple of things that I enjoy and some things that I am good at. My job by day, I get paid, I'm a senior construction superintendent. What does that mean? I build projects. I oversee the construction portion of it out in the field. Right now I am working on a pedestrian bridge at the Sacramento International Airport, also known as SMF. You'll hear me talk about SMF a lot. So in the next couple of podcasts, maybe episode 2 or 3, I will get into what it's like to be a construction superintendent, be a female in the construction world, and how I got kind of rise up through the ranks and kind of a little bit more about me in that aspect. Another thing I wanted to talk about is law enforcement. So in my free time, I am what's called a reserve deputy sheriff. I work for the best. I'm with LA County Sheriff's Department, and I'm kind of a volunteer, but I get paid $1 a year to go out on patrol. And I will go into that further in detail in future podcasts. The other thing I want to talk about is Jiu Jitsu. I am currently a blue belt. I'm about 3 years into the Jiu Jitsu journey. I'm loving it. And I'm going to talk about how I got into it, what I like about it, kind of how it translates to everyday life, construction, law enforcement, how everybody could benefit from it, kids, adults, men, women, you name it. The other thing I want to discuss on this podcast is astrology. So if you've met me and had a conversation, I will probably have asked you when your birthday is. I will probably have mentioned something to you like, oh, Mercury's in retrograde. Yes, I do come off a little woo-woo. That's probably my rising sign in Aquarius. Sorry to all you Aquariuses out there, I'm calling you out. Fellow weirdos. No, you're not weird. And I'm going to go kind of a little bit into detail on that. Explain kind of more information about it and kind of share why you should know a little bit more about it, in my opinion, or why I like to know about it. I mean, you should know whatever you want to know. Get into whatever you want to know about. So that's kind of Talks with Tot. I'll kind of go over some of those details in each podcast. Maybe I'll share a story about when I was on patrol. Maybe I'll share a story about construction. Maybe it'll be an interesting, funny scenario. I've been doing construction for 25 years, and I have a lot of experience, a lot of stories. So I want to talk about that. And the jiu-jitsu thing is still fairly new to me, but I will kind of share with you guys a lot of information on that. If you guys have any questions or topics that you would like me to elaborate on, or you want me to share, in law enforcement, I'm going to be sharing some of the everyday laws that you may not be aware of, or like, hey, is that legal? Or, hey, how does this work? So if you have any questions about that, I know when I share with people in a conversation, face to face, right? I get a lot of, hey, by the way, I got a ticket for X, Y, and Z, or maybe someone will feel comfortable and they'll share, I was arrested for blah, blah, blah. I'm one of those people who kind of has that sign on my forehead that says, tell me anything, tell me your deepest, darkest secrets. And it's kind of fun, but it's also, I have a lot of information from people that have shared with me things that I don't know that everybody wants to have shared. Gonna keep it high level on here. I'm not going to call anybody out unless you deserve it, right? And you might, or it's funny, but I'll always try and preserve any kind of privacy or people's individualities. So welcome to my podcast, and let's keep it short and simple, and let's share some great information. Maybe there's some products that I've found that can be helpful for people. I would love to share that and any of the journeys along the way. So once again, welcome to the podcast Talks with Tat. I am Tat. My real name is Tatiana. I go by Tat. You can find me on Instagram, Talks with Tat Podcast. We're on Rumble. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Instagram, obviously. And share with me what you like. Share with me what you're hoping to get out of this. So welcome and thank you.
Thank you for listening to my podcast, Talks with Todd. Self-published. Sound is by The Soundings. Tune in next week.